Welcome everybody to season 1, episode 1 of the Carol Foderick Real Estates Group podcast, The Best Thing About Real Estate Is. So I am joined today by Emily Salter, who's my director of sales here on the CFRAG, and of course, Amanda Whidden, who is one of my senior agents on the team.
Senior as in old, or?
I definitely have some grace.
Senior as in seasoned.
Okay.
I think that's right. We were doing the hair comparisons earlier before we started. So first episode of the podcast, and I think we should first address the question that everybody's asking, which is, why would I listen to this podcast?
I don't know, Carol. Why would?
This is a question, right? So the real estate space is like incredibly crowded with people who are doing all kinds of things. But I think it is a true statement that the rate of consumption, not just for podcasts, but all kinds of media right now, media is being consumed faster than it can be produced. And I know that, I can speak to this, and probably the both of you can as well. As soon as we're recording our monthly update videos, we're sending information to our clients. I get deluged. What's the word I'm looking for? Deluged with responses back where it's like looking for additional information, want specifics. So I think it's a true statement that our clients are consuming the media that we are putting out at a rate faster than we can produce it. So all the best things about real estate, or the best thing about real estate is what? We're here to answer that question through a series of podcasts where I'm going to get the opportunity to sit with different people from my team, from our industry, different professionals that have something to do with real estate, who are all going to answer the same question: the best thing about real estate. So here we are on a podcast.
Here we are.
Are you excited to share your perspectives on all things real estate?
Absolutely.
I'm not sure what's going to come out of my mouth.
You don't know with a podcast, right? It could go either way. I think it's, and I think that's one of the best things about doing it in this format, and it's kind of live and it's interactive and it's fun, and
it's not scripted.
It's not scripted. We didn't even have a meeting ahead of time to talk about what we were going to talk about.
No.
Thank God, because I couldn't remember anything else. So I'm happy to spitball with you and share my experiences, but asking me to remember some lines it's just not my strong suit.
So I think that's important. This is going to be organic. You're going to just hear a lot of unscripted, unfiltered perspective on what it is to be a real estate professional or to work in the real estate industry at this time in this place. And Emily, maybe I'll start with a little intro to you. You've been in real estate for 18 years.
That's right.
You joined the Carol Foderick Real Estate Group about a year ago. Yeah, as a team leader. So tell me your real estate story, how you ended up in real estate.
Oh, well, it's very organic. I studied fashion design in school and became
exactly
a realtor,
what you'd expect.
As one would. No, interestingly enough, I did. I studied fashion technique and design, and so I could work in a sweatshop anywhere around the world if I needed to sew in a zipper. Haven't done it in probably 20 years, but I'm sure it's like riding a bike, right? I did a couple of weddings. I wanted to do bridal and evening wear, and quickly realized that that's the worst industry in the world. Dealing with somebody regarding their wedding dress, not fun. Yeah, so started with fashion, and I also put myself through school working in fine dining. So I think early introduction to customer service at a very high level. And that's definitely translated well into my career in real estate. So how did I end up getting into real estate? Great question. My husband had a friend. I won't name him. He's still a real estate agent today. And honestly, I thought to myself, if this guy can do real estate, like this is probably a great career for me.
I feel like that's the origin story for like 90% of real estate agents out there. It'd be like, I can't believe this person who is operating at this level is the best that the profession has to offer.
A decent level. And I thought, hey, this could be interesting.
We're going to come back to this very topic in episode 2, but I love it. So you joined the CFRAG last year. You have a very impressive resume in real estate. So,
I've done a little bit of everything. So I started
a lot of big things
on a prominent team in the area where I live now. And I had an incredible experience. It was 2 very strong female leaders. And that's something I've been blessed with throughout my whole career is having very strong female leaders in every role in which I've worked, which I think coming from a very traditional household with a stay-at-home mom, it wasn't something that I necessarily grew up with. And so it has helped me grow as a woman, I think, and as a leader. So started on a team, went independent when I had my first child, and just wanted a little bit more autonomy around, deciding my schedule, I guess, and not wanting to commit to doing open houses every weekend with a newborn at home. And it just made sense. My career had been in real estate for 6 years at that time, and my business already organically was repeat and referral. So it was an opportunity for me to strike out on my own.
And you eventually ended up like running the office that recruited me when I left Royal LePage after 15 years.
My one legacy I'm leaving them is that I was successful in recruiting the Carol Foderick Real Estate Group.
And then I was successful at recruiting you to then
it
lead
was
the team.
like full turn. So
It's like a 360.
yeah. And it's been a great year. It's been, Carol, you asked me earlier, maybe talk a little bit about what it's like working with the agents and leading, such a diverse group of people in terms of where they're at in their career, where their backgrounds are, their age, geographically where they live. And I would say that in general, it's like herding cats.
Yeah, that's true. With most team leaders, I think that's certainly how I feel sometimes.
Wildcats who need a bath.
Wildcats who need a bath, and also a lot of hugs.
A lot of hugs.
Yeah.
And one of the huggiest people on the team, Amanda Whidden, who, of course, I love Amanda's story, and I'll let her tell it in her own words, because Amanda, for a lot of our people listening today, you're not going to need an introduction. You're pivotal as part of, my business, but also to a lot of the people that are going to be listening to this. You are their agent of choice. I love your story about how you came to work alongside me in this real estate group, because you were actually let go from a top producing team, which I think is hilarious, because
they were Instagram top producing.
They were Instagram. So I'm not sure there was real top producing,
yeah.
but Amanda went on to break the sales record when she joined our real estate group and sold $40 million, which if you're not in the industry, you don't realize what a huge milestone that is. But Amanda set the record for brand new agent, rookie agent at our brokerage for highest sales production in their first year in real estate. So maybe tell us a little bit about your origin story, because you've got a great backstory coming all the way from the East Coast.
Yeah, Nova Scotia, born and raised. Lived here in Toronto almost half my life now. It's crazy. That's where the gray hair comes from.
Oh, there's no gray haired people on the East Coast, to be clear, guys. Just here in the GTA.
Funny, I have a similar story to Emily. I moved to Toronto and took my fashion business communications. Worked in a.
Hey, I think we need a secondary business here.
I also worked as a waitress, but mine was more on like a truck stop bar. So I feel like high end customer service personalities, When I moved to Toronto, they asked me if I knew how to do wine service, and I was like, "Yeah, you just screw off the top."
I love it. That's great.
Oh no, I can do the whole napkin thing. I got it down.
No. So again, working through restaurants to pay for my education and got my fashion business, worked in a retail store in the beaches for 11 years and decided to make a career change and thought, hey, why don't I try real estate? Because everyone always had said, you should try it. And I was like, no. And then when I said, yeah, I think I'm going to try it, my husband, gosh, love him, was like, is it just because everyone thinks that you should, or do you actually want to do it?
It's an important question. Yeah,
and I was
we'll unpack that later.
Oh, I actually want to do this.
There might need to be some therapy.
No, I really, really honor him challenging me on it, because we're great partners. And I was like, do I want this for myself, or am I just doing this because people have said that I should? And I was like, no, I really want to do this. So I joined a team there for a week. I left and tears up the street.
And then you sort of hired yourself. I want to be clear. It was because you were actually recruited to the brokerage, to our mother brokerage. And they put you in touch with me just to see if we could, communicate about, the values.
You had
and the
just started your holiday pop-by.
I just started my holiday
pop-by. And you were on a long drive, and I caught you at a great time.
You did. I think we had a 2.5-hour conversation. And then we hung up, and I was like, oh, that's great. I hope she has lots of success in real estate. And you called up the person who was, encouraging you to join the brokerage. You were like, I am joining the brokerage, and I am joining the Carol Foderick Real Estate Group.
Sure was.
And I was like, oh,
she can't say no now.
I can't.
No, she just
hired
myself
herself.
up.
So I've asked you guys to be on the podcast today, our very first podcast. Of course, because I have a huge amount of professional respect for you guys, but because we are going to talk about a super important topic today, which is the customer experience that our clients receive when you hire an agent that is a member of a real estate group versus a real estate professional that is perhaps a solo agent, which, to be clear, for decades and decades was the predominant, type of agent in the marketplace. You had individual agent who was kind of the jack of all trades, doing a little bit of everything, trying to service their clients themselves. And I think as a as somebody who's been in the industry for, almost 2 decades now, you can see a clear migration towards the larger teams, the larger groups, because the service offering is really different. But I don't think a lot of clients.
I think the single agents also struggle where we're at in terms of, when you and I started in real estate, there wasn't such a thing as even professional photography, let alone full staging services and everything that we offer as the group that we are. So I think as a single agent, as the customer service offering increases, improves, whatever that is over the years to come, it's going to be more and more difficult for a single agent to even compete with a group like ours. Because when I'm going in as a single agent, or when I was a single agent and I'm offering up, the services that I could provide, it was nothing like what we have on offer as a part of our group.
Yeah, and to be clear, it's not just us, it's the three of us. The Carol Foderick Real Estate Group now is a team of 37 full-time professionals, which is crazy. That there's definitely been scale that is, that's been happened there. Many salespeople, many realtors and brokers, but we are underpinned by a very, very dedicated team of support staff that are there to give our customers the very best customer service experience that you can possibly imagine. And we are not agents that are putting our face on the sides of buses. Like, you won't get a flashy laminated or glossy piece of advertising in your mailbox from us. We work entirely by referral.
What's
through
your billboard
repeat.
budget?
Oh yeah, zero. There are no billboards. Yeah, I love it.
Not on the side of the gardener?
No, there is no gardeners. Although I often wonder what that would be. But I think, there's a saying in real estate that the cost of advertising is the price that you pay for having poor or unremarkable customer service. And I think it's a testament to the fact that we've built one of the largest real estate groups in the country by just providing a service offering that exceeds the expectations of our clients and certainly everything else in the marketplace. So we have a group of some amazing professionals on the back end who's are non-selling team members who are just there to create an experience that is going to not only meet their needs from a transactional point of view, but really go above and beyond to try and take the stress out of a real estate transaction, because it is a stressful time in anybody's life, regardless of whether you're buying, you're selling, a primary home and investment property, you're a tenant, you're a landlord. Regardless of where you're meeting us, transactionally speaking, there are stresses, there are joys that come up with those needs, and it's an honor to be able to be of service to people. So I'd love to unpack that a little bit, because I think that's truly what sets us apart. And to give some perspective, that independent agent that we're talking about, what's the stats, Emily? As our team leader, the average Toronto Regional Real Estate Board agent does how many transactions in a year?
The average has actually gone down. It used to be 4.
Well, I want to just talk about the fact that the average producing agent sells four, and it's not even selling. Those could be lease
like
transactions. It is, but like 40% of the agents in the marketplace are actually
zero. Yeah.
Zero, which is a shocking statistic to me, that the vast majority of the 100,000 or so agents that are licensed in our marketplace actually do 0 transactions in a year. And so obviously the difference between someone that does 0 transactions, or frankly even 4, which is a commanding part of that, that next demographic, they're going to get a really different experience than, working with a real estate group that does 420 in a year. Just what we can,
we've seen it all. We do it all.
We've seen it all. We've done it all. And I think that what we offer is something just really different. You likened it to like the hotel chains. I love this analogy. I hear you use it all the time, Emily, with our clients.
Yeah, for me, it's the difference between being a part of this group. And I can say this very honestly and very candidly, because as a team leader, when I was recruiting for Keller Williams, I was privy to every iteration of what a team is across Canada and across the United States. So I've seen every contract, I've seen every business model, I've seen every offering. And I can say that not only just the service offering from our back end, but also from our front end sales team is by far superior to anything else that I've ever come across. And so I always liken it to your experience in customer service, staying at a Holiday Inn, or what are those ones in Niagara? The roadway with the
Oh, I don't know.
the
I can't say that
motels
I'm
where you
stuck-
put the coins in and the beds
No,
shake.
that's not a real thing, is
No,
it?
that's a thing.
Oh, I've seen them.
I would ask how you know, Emily, but I'm not sure I really want to unpack the answer to that on a live
Probably
podcast.
not right now, but I could probably share some
Episode
great
3.
20-something-year-old stories.
Okay, so we're going to call it the Days Inn or
the
whatever.
Days Inn,
Days
the
Inn.
Holiday Inn, the Andrews Motel on Kingston Road versus
The Havanap. The Havanap on Motel on Kingston Road.
You know them versus the Ritz-Carlton. When you walk into the Ritz-Carlton or the Four Seasons, first thing you notice, I think, is the smell.
So this is a really funny point, and it's funny that you bring this up because we actually sent our listings with the Ritz-Carlton smell. So people will walk in because the sensory experience that you as a buyer as you walk into a home, believe it or not, before the door is even open all of the way, they've made a judgment call by the curb appeal, but the smell of the house actually has a huge thing. And I'll come back to you on that, Amanda, because you talk about it all the time.
But do you remember when you and I started, we would bake cookies in homes?
You would bake
open
cookies,
houses.
or people would ask you to bake cookies. And if you were a terrible baker like me, you would burn something.
You just buy the crispy ones and you cut them off.
It's just the smell.
You can burn those too.
You didn't
So-
serve the cookies. It was just for the smell.
But yes, part of our staging experience is that we're actually use a professional scent diffuser that makes all of our listings smell like the Ritz-Carlton. And it doesn't matter whether it is,
I can't say I've ever been into the Roadway Inn or the Andrews Motel
You're
on
really
Kingston
walking-
Road,
you're
but I don't
walking
think
back
you're going to
your-
get that same scent. That's just my anticipation.
you're really walking back your experience with these hotels
Probably
because
we're
you have a
unpacking
lot
this
of,
on episode 3.
you seem to have a lot of knowledge. So I love that. So it is probably a different experience. So Amanda, I love this because you're one of our top producing agents. You're doing a very, very high level of business. You're working with buyers, you're working with sellers. Talk a little bit about what the client experience is like from your perspective as an agent, what your clients can expect to get when they are working with not just you, but the huge amount of administrative support that goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah, I think from the moment I meet a client, they're not just embraced by me and caring about their wants and their needs and how they want to move through the transaction. It's all of the team's administrative staff behind them also has that same passion. So, from the time that they sit down, everyone on the team understands their goal, their needs. Once they buy something, Anissa Hussein, our closing care coordinator, is there to make sure that their questions are answered quickly and that, it's a very stressful time for people. They want to make sure that you're there to hold their hand 100% of the way. And I think that we are, not just myself, but a lot of other people on the team.
You know what else I think sets us apart is even starting with our staging and design team, right?
Completely
So those are the
in-house.
first people that go in after we do when we sign up a listing or when we first meet with the client. Those are the first people who go in to help them prepare their home for market. And how many times do you get a call after the staging appointment to tell you how much they loved Elena?
Oh, all the time.
Every time.
She has taken my stress level and just put it way down.
Yeah.
I know exactly what I need to do. She is there to support me, not only her, but the rest of the team coming in
The
on
whole
the day.
the whole crew, right?
The whole crew.
And I think that's something that also sets us apart from a single agent. If we're going to kind of chat a little bit about that, is a single agent does not have a full-time designer, does not have a full-time handyman, does not have a full-time logistics crew. So when they're bringing rented furniture into your home, it's employees who are paid by another company who you have not vetted, who you do not have under your insurance policy. Like, it's a very different offering when you work with our group.
They care.
It's the Ritz-Carlton. It starts
It
from
is,
the beginning and it's right through, not till the sale, but they become a client, a community member of
Part of our community, yeah.
part of our
We'll-
community for life.
Yeah, we'll come back to that afterwards. But yeah, I think that's a really important point. That one of the reasons I think that a lot of people choose to work with us, not just the offering that we give during our listing presentation, and that includes, everything from full, staging services included, but, the handyman, the junk removal, just the home
Cleaning.
inspections, cleaning,
The top to bottom cleaning.
yard
just-
cleanup, garden sweeps, like all of the things. We could unpack all of that, but I think it is really that level of care and commitment that we get from our staging team. It's funny because if you follow us on any of our social social media channels, we will often post like videos of our, various staff members. And most recently, we featured one of our operations manager, Regan O'Halloran. So anyone who's watching, Regan also happens to be
Regan
my
on
husband.
TikTok? I need to know
Regan
this right
is not
now.
on TikTok.
Okay.
He should be.
But is his video on TikTok?
No, Regan's
Okay.
57. TikTok is not his MO. Like if I was like, he asked me something the other day about Twitter and he was like, did you read this twit from whatever? I was like, I don't think it's called twit, but no. And I was actually, he got like, we must have got 100 phone calls after his video went up because it was a very iconic like pillow chop, but he pillow chopped a fiber fill pillow, which to be clear,
Just bounces back.
it just bounces back. So, but
for those who don't know what the pillow chop is, it's like a traditional staging
it is.
move.
You get the karate chop
You
of
got
the
the
pillow.
karate chop of the pillow.
But anyways, yeah. So I think our staging crew is really beloved, but you realize that the staging is really just the tip of the iceberg. So let's talk about some of the back end administrative support, because I think this is truly what sets you apart, Amanda or
I
Emily.
can speak to this because, as I said, I started on a team. I've been an independent agent, honestly, still a year in, every week, I marvel at how good I'm made to look.
And how efficient.
And how I'm like, Anissa with it again. Like just, following up before closing, making sure. And it's like all these steps that honestly, I never maybe even would have thought to do.
Agents who don't tell their clients, like, this is how you book the elevator. This is how you set up your utilities. This is the contract for the hot water tank rental. This is how you fill it out.
But let's be honest, Amanda, most agents, when they have
that's
a
not
firm
for
deal,
them to fill. Like, that's their clients
deal,
to go.
and then they're done. And that's what we do very differently.
We care about it long after.
That's because where our future business comes from.
I agree. I think it's a different perspective when when your reputation is built on the experience that your clients get during the transaction. That becomes it becomes your calling card, the level of service that you give.
To it?
So staging crew, obviously full-time staging and design manager, Elena, who's fabulous. We have 2 full-time staff so that these are vetted, known people that are coming through your home. Then you get to the back end of our administrative team, who I think are the heart and soul of who we are as a real estate group and why we have so many Google 5-star
They're like
reviews.
the special force.
They are. They're like the Navy SEALs
gets
of
the
real
most
estate.
5-star Google reviews of anybody, does she not?
Cole Bartel, who is our director of listing services, so probably in my 20 years of real estate, the most accurate and efficient real estate administrator that I've come across. And we're very strategic with how we staff some of these roles, as you guys know. We've hired Cole specifically because they have an incredible ability to not only create an efficient staging schedule that is clear and concise for our listing preparation schedule that is clear and concise for our clients, so that everything is taken off of their plate in terms of preparing their home for market, and the communication is clear. But Cole is just phenomenal at being able to manage that. Cole's background is actually in entertainment.
Not
in fashion. Entertainment management. So Cole actually worked for, and I won't say because it's not. Oh, did I turn my mic off? No, I didn't. Cole actually managed major stage productions. So when the rock stars had to run on and off stage during major productions. So Cole brings a lot of experience to that role.
When we're doing this high level of business and at such a high quality of customer service, our back end system, and especially the listing side of things, has to run with military precision. And when we're staging 3-4 properties in a week, that doesn't just consist of like somebody showing up and putting furniture in a home. It's hours of preparation that go in.
Organize the donations,
to the management,
organize the junk removal, organize the cleaning, the exterior yard cleanup,
Plan the stage to custom curate the highlights of your own home.
Have the cleaner in before the photos. Like it is military precision.
Yeah, yes. I love it. So Cole launches it onto the market, and then of course our 2 director of sales, who you are one, Carolyn Morgan is our other, assist with the management of those listings. We have hopefully a satisfactory experience on the market, and we're going to talk about that in future episodes about what that looks like in this market and how you win in real estate in any market, regardless of whether the economy or the market is up or down. We get a successful firm transaction on that property, then that person gets the opportunity to work with Anissa Hussein, who you guys have referred to a couple of times already. So our director of sale closing services.
I call her a ray of sunshine.
She is.
She's a ray of sunshine.
Do you know sometimes like you talk to people and you just know that they're smiling? Anissa is that person all the time.
Her
Somebody who
voice is a
genuinely
smile.
loves
You get her on the
she
phone,
does.
and it's just like, honestly, it makes my life as because let's be clear, I'm also a real estate agent. I also trade in real estate, so I get to experience every aspect of the team. Just knowing that we have even just those two people, not to mention the other people that we have behind the scenes.
I think a lot of people don't realize so this is where most agents go MIA. You get the firm deal, that's it. You're like, no, you're with the lawyer now, you're with your lender. Like I'll find out if it
closing with a bottle of cheap champagne,
or perhaps not even
some
frankly.
Prosecco.
Yeah, honestly. And I think this is where we really diverge because although we have a very, very high level of service to the point of sale, this is where we really go a different direction from the vast majority of agents in the marketplace. So Anissa has a checklist of about 70, I think it's 70 at the last count, about 78 points of contact with our clients and things that she takes off their plate. So you don't realize when you buy a house often, or maybe you do if you've done it before, the amount of energy and effort and time that has to go into successfully closing that transaction is it's monumental. And all the things that you maybe didn't even realize you were supposed to be doing, Anissa takes that all off of the client's plate on behalf of the agent. And so even the things that you didn't know that you were supposed to be doing, either as an agent or as a purchaser or a home seller, Anissa proactively goes out and does it. So everybody loves Anissa because she's phenomenal at that. But transaction closes successfully with Anissa's assistance and of course your initial agent. Where does our client pathway go next? Director of Client Community, who is Amanda Barton. And I love this because this is a wonderful role that I think, to my knowledge, we're the only team in Canada that has one. This is where we start to engage our clients after the close of the transaction. So for the vast majority of agents, when your transaction closes, for sure, you're never going to hear. It's really interesting.
They write a Christmas card once every 3 years.
I don't know. That's a stretch. I'm not even sure there's a lot of agents writing Christmas cards anymore. That's the truth.
Well,
Good luck as a paint and a
it's
poster.
offensive. You can't say Merry Christmas anymore.
Can't say Merry Christmas. You say Happy Holidays, whatever. But I would agree that the communication usually drops entirely at the point of sale. And what's really interesting is very often I'll go into a listing presentation. Yeah. And I'm sure both of you have had this experience. I'll go into a listing presentation and I'll ask somebody like, what was your experience with their last agent? And they'll say, yeah, I guess it was okay. Not, what you have in this giant, 75 page book in terms of what your offering is, but it was okay. But I just never heard from them again. And I think that is such a shame because, your commitment to your clients truly begins when they've actually taken ownership of the asset that you counseled them to buy in some regards.
I would challenge you that more times than not, when we ask that question, they actually say, "Oh, they were great," and then
often,
right,
yeah.
and then you'll be like, "Oh, well,"
but they just never.
And
heard
then they're
from,
like,
I never heard
"Yeah,"
from
but
them
I
again.
just never heard from them again.
I never heard from them.
And
again.
I don't.
We don't know where they
I
are.
don't see their signs anywhere.
And
in the
what's the
neighborhood,
inference?
whatever,
I think
right?
that they got their commission check and they stopped caring. And I think it's a sad reality that is true because the agents, when they don't have the leverage or the ability to successfully manage or build a business, they are kind of done with you. And you see that happen, unfortunately,
That's
a lot
a
in our
transactional
industry.
way of doing business.
Transactional mindset.
Sure,
Agreed.
there are successful agents who do business that way, but those are the ones that are buying leads and not staying in community with their clients. They're just focused on the transaction. So it's a different experience.
Amanda, I love this because you engage with our client community quite a lot. So you're an
More
agent
than
on the
anyone.
team. Yeah, I think you're
You
an agent on
do.
the team. What is our director of client community who manages our client community, which is a group of people, that we have accumulated of people that have worked with us in the past. What does that look like from an agent perspective or from a client perspective? Like, how are your clients interacting with our director of client community?
Yeah, I think you said it right. Like, community is part of the thing. You want to feel like you just did one of the largest transactions of your life with someone. You want to feel like they're always there to support you. So, you might hear from Amanda Barton or your agent on the team about a special event coming up. Like, I don't know, would you like to come to a Blue Jays game with me and have a hot dog? And how's your life?
1,650
Yeah.
past clients at the Blue Jays game
I
this summer.
love
It was
watching
3 sections of the 500 deck. I love that. That was a great event.
And we get to watch their kids grow up. I love watching them come in when they were in little bassinets when they bought their house. And now they're little toddlers running around with their Jays jerseys on. and hearing about, oh, we painted the room, they're not in a crib. We finished that basement we were talking about. Thanks for giving me that contractor referral. They were amazing at helping us figure out the leak in the roof.
We decided to put the basement apartment in after we came to the seminar about the landlord-tenant board.
And our daughter's moving downstairs and going to university, and we're saving on rent, or maybe we're buying them an investment.
So
condo.
you're not just their real estate agent anymore. You're,
I agree. You're a
consultant.
Yeah.
You're not just there to sell them real estate. You're there to help them navigate
a trusted
income.
advisor.
Yeah, not income, but building income through real estate. That's just one facet.
Yeah, no, I think the community thing is definitely like, we get a lot of feedback about the fact that we are trying to build a client for life. Like, I am not interested in just doing one transaction one time with a client. My job is to represent them to the highest possible professional standard, so that they have the confidence to not only come back to me when their lifestyle calls for a change in housing, but also they feel confident enough in our services that they can refer us to friends and family, which is the heart of where our business has been built. I love this because a lot of people interact with us in social media after the fact. It's not you as an agent that is there typing on the back end. And we're going to talk about this in episode 2 a little bit more. But Dave, our director of marketing, I want to just talk about him for a minute because he's awesome.
He's also a ray of sunshine.
He is a ray of sunshine. I think that's true.
Love
so
person.
yeah. So Dave, incredible background in real estate, is a new Canadian as well, came from another part of the world where he actually ran a Remax franchise. So very, very high level of real estate knowledge and experience. But came aboard to be our director of marketing and runs a lot of the back end of our social media, our ad campaigns for our properties. We talk about this a little bit, the fact that you have a dedicated director of marketing, what that means for marketing our properties. Because I think that
Amanda, when you were a single agent, or you weren't, so never mind, I won't ask you.
I love it.
I can tell you, when I was a single agent and I was posting my fabulous listings on not the TikTok, as I like to call it, on Instagram, Facebook. Did I know what I was doing to get people to actually engage? Or did the majority of the interactions I got, how much is this for rent, when it was actually for sale? That was my experience with social media until I became a part of this group.
I think it's tough because the social media component, to be clear, in addition to Dave, we have a full in-house company that manages all of our social media and all of our targeted marketing campaigns. I think for too long, and listen, I'll take a step back, in a really screaming hot market, all the skills that an agent needed was the ability. What's the thing that they always say? The 3 Ps.
I love that.
Yeah. What is it?
Put a sale on the sign on the lawn. Put it on MLS and pray that it sells.
And you didn't
even need to pray.
You didn't need to pray.
There are those people who use that statue and put it in the garden.
We've done that when it's necessary. Yeah. We've also done that. I think it's at St. Joseph. I don't know. I'd have to. Anyways, but yeah, no, you're right. In a hot market, you don't need any of those. You don't need any of those skills.
You don't need the skill that has been required in the. To actually professionally, quote you, we're in the 32nd month of a real estate recession. This has by far been the most difficult real estate market that I've been through. And I went through the market in 2008. I went through the market in
2016, NRST, yeah.
And this has been nothing like that. And it's only the fact that I have earned the knowledge, experience, and what else? Knowledge and experience to start with, that I've been able to weather this storm.
Yeah.
And it would have been a lot harder on my own.
I think that's the benefit of, having all of these professionals, working together, because again, it's not just the back end administrative staff. It's not just the one agent on a group that you hire. You have the benefit of leverage of, the 20 agents that are on that team, where literally we sit in a meeting on, Monday morning at 9:15 and we're like, what do we have on the market? Whether it's Amanda's client or my client or your client, Emily, and we sit here and say, what do we need to do to move the ball forward to get these clients the best deal possible? Yeah. So you're not just hiring one person, you're essentially hiring almost 40. And I think that's really the differentiator between, an individual agent who is, bless their heart, trying to do it all and be it all, versus hiring one of the biggest real estate teams in the country. It's a powerhouse, and you're getting 40 for the price of one in a lot of respects. So I'm curious to know, Amanda, the feedback that you get from your clients, because you work with a lot of clients, both buyers and sellers. What does it feel like? And maybe I'll take a step back from an agent's perspective. what's your observance of having to deal with the individual agent, and how that translates into you having to then communicate with your client? Because if you are the individual agent who has hit that glass ceiling of, I can't just manage anymore on my own without the benefit of the leverage that a big team brings, how does that translate into their clients, into the kind of experience that they're getting, those individual agents?
Yeah, it's sometimes after a deal is done, I reach out to a client just with a couple, basic questions, and I may not hear from them for weeks. And we have a transaction.
The other agent
on the other side. And my clients have asked a few questions. We followed up a few times, and the response is, I just haven't had time to get to that. Because in their eyes, the transaction is done. They're moved on to whatever else. They just don't have time to do all of those little things where we really care about all of those little details. Anise is there to make sure that they're setting up their utilities and that they're booking their elevator and that they're getting their insurance done, and that the lender or the lawyer has all of the documents, sending the PDFs to here, to there, to making sure.
It's a lot. People don't realize
it's a lot.
Yeah.
Having to download documents and upload PDFs. I mean, I can't remember all my passwords sometimes, let alone where all my documents have gone recently.
It's nice to have someone to kind of do that for you. Yeah.
Absolutely. So
I think what the support that we have enables you and I
Exactly.
as agents to do what we enjoy most and do what we're best at, which is being in front of our clients and helping them negotiate fantastic transactions, as opposed to being in the minutia of paperwork and things that anybody could do. We're skilled in different ways, and by having the supports in place that we have, being a part of this group, it gives us not only leverage, but it helps us deliver that Ritz-Carlton experience that we so desire to provide.
So let me ask you guys a question, because we've talked a lot about buyers and sellers, but there is a huge segment of the market, the housing market, about 40% of people who are renters. Mm-hmm. And these are the people that often get overlooked. You get agents who are too busy to deal with renters. It's a service offering that we have, which is unparalleled, I think.
Well, yeah, because we haven't even talked about Shauna yet, right? So we have
talk about Shauna.
Dedicated full-time staff member who is 100% dedicated to our leasing transactions. Like, that's also never heard of this happening in any other real estate group.
Yeah, a closing concierge specific to leasing transactions, which is unheard of. And it's important because you have to acknowledge the fact that regardless, maybe you had $1.5 million to buy a house, maybe you had $1,500 to rent an apartment, your needs and your experience should be respected to the same degree as somebody who has
your stress level's the same. It's your house.
Frankly, sometimes higher. I want to be clear, because these transactions can be more challenging sometimes than sales.
But that's where our service offering is distinct.
Yeah,
it's absolutely the same. Whether you're renting a $1,500 basement apartment or you're buying a $5 million home, you get that same high level of service, and that's what's important to us, because wherever you are in your journey in real estate, we want to be a part of it, and we want to help you to succeed and grow. And that is what sets us apart as a group.
I love it.
Absolutely.
Let's just wrap it up there, guys. Thank you so much. I feel like this was just a great intro for, people to kind of get a sense of some of the people behind the back end of the Carol Foderick Real Estate Group, because maybe they see my face or your face. But
I do have a billboard.
You do. You do not have a billboard. I know you don't have a billboard.
We're a very large family, and
we are a large family.
Very happy to be part of it.
Yeah, and we love our clients. I think that's the most important thing. It is truly an honor to get the opportunity to be of service to people during their transaction, whether it is a multi-million-dollar home or your very first apartment that you're signing your lease on. It's an honor to be called to be of service to those people, to walk alongside them through their real estate journey.
And I think the biggest reward in it all is when they refer us to their friends, family, colleagues, whoever it is that talks to them about real estate. When we're first top of mind and we get a call saying so and so referred me, that is like heart filling for me.
Sometimes it's just a question. We're always here to support with anything.
Yeah. No greater compliment, I think, than to be thought of in that regard. Yeah. So, well, thank you, ladies, today for sharing your knowledge and experience with me. And hopefully everybody listening or watching this
it's going to be on their seats for episode 3 for Have a Nap Hotel.
Have a Nap Hotel, the episode 3.
Emily's experience.
The discussion about whether or not is the beach or the beaches.
We can debate that one too.
Edition.
Born and raised.
Stay tuned, guys, for that for that conversation later on. So thanks everybody for joining us today. And if you have feedback, if you have thoughts on what you'd like us to talk about who else you'd like to see featured on this podcast, I would love to hear them. So please share your thoughts and comments with us.
Honored to be your first, one of your first
welcome.
guests. Thank you.
Yeah, episode 1.
An amazing time. Good. High five, guys.
High five.
High five. Can we do
like,
high five?
do like the, don't hit the, don't hit the.
I don't know.
Thanks everybody for watching. We'll catch up with you again soon.